Post Hamlet, the protagonist he becomes very uncertain that who could be the murderer of his deceased father, because it was suggested by his best friend Horatio that this ghost could be an evil spirit to divert our attention and to cast us away from our job and responsibility. So Hamlet was more like a confused soul ever since he came from the foreign lands, and he was more aghast to see the hasty marriage of his mother. So we can say that he was very much dismayed at the loss of his father's death, but he was very much dejected and disappointed to see the disloyalty of his mother. But here, some critics of the Shakespeare, they believe there was, an Oedipus complex, and there was an unnatural attachment between mother and the son. So that even some people don't believe that there was the relationship what was quite normal, and there was no such as Oedipus complex. So I explained Oedipus complex just before. So what is the Oedipus complex? Even told you the story of Oedipus Rex, written by Sophocles. Okay, then he brought a fiend madness, like a fake madness, to give the impression to his enemies, opponents, Claudius, that actually he was planning to execute the revenge for his father. And before this, he was in the state of limbo, like he was delaying his schemes, and he was contriving to murder the Claudius, but he could not find any suitable opportunity. And when he was uncertain, so there happened the famous Soliloquy, to be and not to be, and he asked a self question that should I kill Claudius or not, and who could be the murderer of my father, and if Claudius is innocent, then who could be the murderer, and if he is not the murderer, then why should I live alive? I should kill myself, because my mother, she was very much attached to me. Now she is no more mine, and I have no purpose to live on the earth. So that's why he thought to kill himself. But the religion saved him. Okay? The religion saved him, and because of the religion, like he fears the death, because those who kill themselves, like commit suicide, they go to hell. So he fears hell. So the element of religion is prominent over here, and he says that, by virtue of religion, he could not commit the suicide. And then, the uncertainty becomes certainty by virtue of theater performance. Like theater performance was arranged, there was the group of artists. They were accompanied by Horatio. They came into the palace and they performed, like it was all directed by Hamlet. And there was a play within the play. And in that play there was the story, the same story of his father, that in which he was murdered. And in that play, Gertrude and Claudius, they were the chief guest, and the play performed in front of them. Like the story of a queen and a king and their wicked brother, that how the wicked brother killed the king, and he got the queen later on. Like the same scene came when the king was asleep and he was pierced the poison into the ear, and the king suffers to die. So this was a scene that changed the facial expressions of Claudius and Gertrude, and they saw each other with really abnormal expressions. And that was the moment Hamlet was waiting for. And then the uncertainty becomes certainty, that they are the contrivers of the murder. And then Claudius walked his way out. He just left the place. But Gertrude was there. And in the play, it was also shown that then the wicked brother just, took the throne and just he put it on his head and married to the widow. So it was all shown. And then, Hamlet revealed himself, after some time. He revealed himself that, I know everything, that, who are the murderers and who are the contrivers, who are the people, who did the scheme and who did the conspiracy, against my father. I know it and I won't spare them. So, I would like to talk about revenge. So this was not only the revenge of Hamlet, but there was the revenge of Lariats. And when how the revenge of Lariats took place. So you see, there are the two women in this play, Gertrude and Ophelia. They both are shown as puppet and weak to their male counterparts. And particularly Ophelia, she was just playing into the hands of Polonius and Claudius, and she was spying for Claudius against the Hamlets. So there was one scene when the Ophelia and Hamlet, they both were together, and Polonius was just listening them over. He was hiding to a place, but it was observed by Hamlet, and he killed him mistakenly because he thought that it could be Claudius. But he was not knowing that actually he was Polonius. And then there was the end of the love between, there was the breakup scene, you can say that. Love between Ophelia and Hamlet. And then, the girl was very much attached to her father. And she committed suicide after a few days. So that's why suicide is the theme. And there was the last scene where there was the duel between Lariats and Hamlet. And Hamlet was injured with the same sword. It was dipped into the poison. And Hamlet, chanced to kill Lariats. And lastly, he also pierced into the chest of the main villain Claudius. But later on, he also dies. So there were too many deaths, counted and recorded on the stage. So this was a tragedy. That was not happy end. That was the sad end. But the purpose was served of Hamlet. That was revenge. Thank you so much.